Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay highlights. Naoe's stealth. Use eagle vision, hidden blades, and distractions to stay undetected. The Shinobi and Assassin arsenal. Naoe doesn't have to rely on her stealthy moves alone. She has 4 primary tools at her disposal to help ensure a quick kill or getaway. Smoke bomb. A classic assassin tool that creates a cloud of smoke, allowing you to escape or assassinate low-rank enemies without being seen. Shinobi Bells. The perfect tool to distract enemies. By throwing a bell, you can lure guards away from their posts or create an opportunity to sneak past them. Kunai. Kunai are extremely sharp throwing knives that deal a lot of damage and can result in one-shot kills when aimed with precision. Shuriken. Shuriken are sharp, star-shaped throwing weapons that momentarily stun enemies and are even more useful when thrown into the environment to cause distractions. Stealth gameplay in Shadows has been ambitiously overhauled in a few key areas, says Simon. First, the most obvious change for AC players will be the lack of a companion eagle allowing you to scout ahead and map out an entire location. In Shadows, players must rely on their main character's own senses and engage enemies in a more tactical moment-to-moment manner. Yasuke's combat. Engage in intense sword fights with a focus on combos, blocks, and brutal finishing moves. Choice and nonlinearity. The game will offer a canon mode for a streamlined experience, but players can also explore quests in various orders. Observe. Both Naoe and Yasuke have access to the new Observe mechanic, which delivers a fast and easy way to toggle additional information on screen. Observe allows you to identify targets, tag and monitor enemies, and highlight lootable stashes, collectibles, and quest objectives. While on a sync point, it also allows for close examination of nearby locations. The new Observe mechanic is at the core of the Assassin's Creed Shadows experience, says Simon. When in doubt, take a pause, observe the world around you, and only then should you decide what your next move should be. Eagle Vision. Naoe has access to the classic Assassin's Creed Eagle Vision, which allows her to highlight the position of enemies hidden behind walls and other objects and isolate any relevant sounds they make. Eagle Vision is a more dedicated stealth mechanic, encouraging Naoe to slow down and take a moment to better visualize her enemies and relevant gameplay objects, including hiding spots. Shinobi moves. Hiding in the shadows. For the first time in the Assassin's Creed series, hiding in the shadows will make you invisible to enemies. During nighttime, any pocket of shadows becomes a dynamic hiding spot in which you can progress without being seen. This applies to both interiors and exteriors. The ability to use shadows in this way invites you to carefully study your environment for hiding opportunities and routes, or create them yourself by destroying lanterns with a shuriken. Naoe is a perfectly capable shinobi in broad daylight, says Simon, but the cover of darkness gives her a remarkable edge over her enemies, especially on higher difficulty settings. Staying low. While Naoe is fast, sprinting while you're attempting to be stealthy in a highly populated environment can be risky. The sound of footsteps will alert guards, who will spot you almost instantaneously. In general, standing up increases your visibility, so this is where crouching comes into play. Naoe can move quite slowly while in a crouch, with the sound of her footsteps considerably reduced. Crouching is also particularly effective indoors, minimizing the sound of nightingale floors, specifically designed floors that creak whenever someone steps on them, for example, or reducing the chance of bumping into noisy objects. Going prone. Naoe and Yasuke are the first protagonists able to go prone in the series. Going prone reduces your visibility to enemies even further, whether on the ground, on rooftops, or underwater. For Naoe, going prone comes with its own set of movements. By pressing the dodge button when in prone, you can roll to the side, front, or back, a useful maneuver to quickly employ when a guard approaches. Keep an eye under buildings too, you might just find an opening you can crawl under. New ways to hide and kill. Naoe is our smallest assassin to date, says Simon. And she uses that to her advantage. She can squeeze through tiny wall cracks, and she can hide inside small storage spaces and boxes in order to get the drop on her enemies. Double assassinations. We know that players are always looking for efficiency in their stealth runs, and this is why we are bringing back double assassinations in Assassin's Creed Shadows. By equipping the Tanto as one of your main weapons and unlocking the dedicated skill, you can eliminate two enemies standing next to each other at once with your hidden blade, whether on the ground or from the air. Grabbing enemies. While undetected, you can briefly grab and drag enemies in any direction to silently assassinate or take them down non-lethally. This grab mechanic removes some of the automation we've had in the series before. In Shadows, if you want to assassinate someone from a stalking bush, you have to manually grab them, pull them in, and only then can you dispatch them, says Simon. Enemy tactics. While you have plenty of ways to hide and eliminate your targets, enemies will respond in ways that will make your life more difficult when you make mistakes. Servants, for example, are a new type of non-lethal enemy that will alert guards upon seeing you. While they can't fight, their ability to call for reinforcements and raise alarms make them just as threatening as enemies who can. Servants have their own patrol routes, so it's important to keep tabs on them. When using eagle vision, they will stand out by appearing in orange. Suspicion and investigation. If you get detected and are able to disappear again, enemies will search for you in pairs, one watcher and one seeker, and will remain more suspicious going forward. That means that tactics such as whistling to lure them in will only increase their suspicion, and thus their ability to spot you. Unique enemy behaviors. Focus on the samurai. Certain enemy archetypes will present unique challenges to your arsenal. For example, samurai cannot be assassinated when caught in a smoke bomb, as seen in our clip above. Instead, they will quickly evade the smoky area. This contrasts with the Ishigaru soldiers or the servants, who can be assassinated in smoke. Samurai are also more prone to deny assassinations, and they can even slice bushes when searching for you, which removes options to hide. Samurai are fearsome enemies and cannot be taken lightly, says Simon. Once alerted, they are hard to trick or lure, as they assume that any tricks you use are just that, a trick to lure them. This will force you to adapt and think harder about how to get the drop on them. Stealth and Yasuke. While Yasuke is very much built for direct, close-quarters combat, he can still be stealthy when equipped with his bow. Using this ranged weapon, you can engage enemies from a distance without ever needing to draw your katana. If players are careful and deliberate, Yasuke can also slip behind foes and deliver a devastating assassination with his melee weapons, blending stealth with a more direct combat approach.